Check. 1, 2, 3. Do we got volume? Looks like we do. What's up, coding rabbits? Welcome back to another episode of Live Coding with Rabbitwerks JavaScript. If you haven't seen chat messages and you're wondering why there's no tunes, I'm trying a new thing out this week because all of the streams keep getting demonetized because of copyright claims, because all the tracks, which isn't a big deal. I don't really care about that, but the downside to that, inadvertent downside to that, is that YouTube doesn't recommend demonetized videos and stuff like that because it doesn't make money. So hopefully we can get a few more followers by omitting the tracks, I guess, unfortunately, because I did like having that in the background. So. But you gotta go do with what you gotta do. I mean, maybe we can come up with a playlist of like really royalty free tracks, but most of those are just really cheesy and cliche sounding, and I'm just like, I don't know. Anyways, enough about that. So just wanted to give kind of a heads up on that. Okay, tonight or today, whatever time you're watching this video is episode 4 of the FullStack Auth and Auth from Scratch series, based on CJ, or Coding Garden with CJ's video series Auth from Scratch, the Noob Quest, which you can find the playlist in the description below. Make sure to go check that out and give his channel a like and a sub, because he's got so much good content on there, and he's just a great teacher. So massive shouts and props again. Okay, so before we get going, I just want to say, looks like Amit in the chat stopped by and he says, keep it up, man. And thank you. I probably will keep it up. Appreciate stopping by. Hopefully you can catch the VOD later. Okay, before we go any further, it is officially October. And that being said, it's time again for DigitalOcean, in partner with Dev, is Hacktoberfest. So if you haven't heard about this, it's a really cool way for basically for you to get involved in open source. Support open source and earn a limited edition t-shirt. This is the t-shirt from last year, Hacktoberfest 5, that I got. So it's super cool, and it's super easy. So you just you can sign up through DigitalOcean at hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com. I'll have the link in the description, and you sign up and link your GitHub account, and you can just start working on open source. It's really cool because you promote. There's tons of projects out there. I mean, right here Hacktoberfest projects, any you can contribute to any project on GitHub. Here if you're looking for help, and then they have a ton lists right here. They have let's see, what do they got? They got a really good focus on like first time, if you don't have any open source experience, you're not really sure how to get started or what to do even. It's really geared for Joshua stopped by and he said, have a good stream, dude, and I'll watch it when I get back and done with the ponies tonight. Cool, man. Have a good one. Have fun. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, Hacktoberfest is geared to get new people into open source and get them up to speed. And so there's a lot of beginner friendly type projects out there, repos out there that'll have tags and stuff on it. So you can check out the details. Basically, introduction to open source series, how to create your first pull request, up for grabs, issuehub.io, first timers only, your first PR, awesome for beginners. So there's just a ton of stuff in here. It's super cool. I love it. So make sure you go and check up on that. And the thing is, okay, so what you do is let's see, I think it's still 5. You got to 4. Shirts will be awarded at a first-come, first-served basis. 50,000 participants who successfully complete the Hacktoberfest challenge. We'll start sending out that stuff. So, looks like you have to okay. So, open to everyone in the global community to participate. 4 pull requests supposed to be submitted to public GitHub repos. So you just have to submit a pull request. It doesn't have to be merged or anything like that. So it's super easy to get it done. And I definitely recommend, if you haven't done any open source before, definitely get into it. And this is a really good incentive because you get a sweet ass t-shirt, sweet t-shirt, and it's probably gonna have that on there. I mean, this one's sweet too, so it's gonna be cool. So I'll be doing it, and I definitely encourage you to check it out as well. So enough about that. I'll actually share the link in the chat right now if anybody wants to check that out as such. All right, cool. So back to where we started. Okay, so last week we left off. We kind of got a little bit of a front end started and whatnot. We didn't really get too far into things. So we're going to pick up where we left off last week and mainly focus on building out the front end today. Well, right now we're going to do, we're going to get a nav bar built out and get our register view going. And then hopefully by the end of it, we can actually be making a fetch request to our backend and registering new users. So we'll see how far we get. Again, I'm trying to keep these in about an hour time period, so it's not too much, or an hour time frame or whatever, approximately. So, okay, where we're at right now is we are in the client. I'm gonna close this, and I just am spinning up the server at the moment for our Vue app. So we have a couple things. We have a home, login, and a register. The home will be like welcome, and then we'll have a login and register different views and stuff. So we can open this up in just a second here, but one thing I do want to mention really quick is that I am going to be using my Flexbox util CSS in conjunction with this project. So if you want to get that and follow along as best as possible, you can go to my GitHub and check that out. Also, I'll have the link in the description below if you want to just go that route and whatnot. So anyways, definitely check that out. It'll really help you. It's just basically, you can see I mean, if you've seen the stream before, I use it all the time. It's just class-based Flexbox utilities and stuff. Okay, so let's open up this thing here. Okay, not the thing, but our web page, and see what we have. So this is what we got so far. Pretty basic. It's just we probably switch this color. I don't want it to be green like that. I mean, it could be, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Whatever. I want to bring up the font size though, for show. 150 should be good. Cool. So I can close that out, squish this up a little bit, and we'll actually bring this down a little. So first thing we want to do is we're going to build out a nav bar. So the nav bar is going to go on across the top here. And so if we go to register, you can see we kind of got a thing going on here, but it's not really there yet. So let's go into app.view and see what we're going to do here. So this H1 will be the nav bar, and then we'll have the router view. So if we kind of look at it, we can actually we can just style the router view so we can get a... Actually, we don't need to do that. What we'll do is just take this out for the time being. So we'll just put a div in here, and we'll give it a class of the nav bar outer. Right. And we can give it, yeah. I'm just checking my notes. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so we have a div with the class of navbar -- outer. You can do the naming conventions how you want, if it's up to you, but this is just how I kind of have started doing it. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to let's see, we want to give this this div a class of the flexbox to give it all the way across. So fxbx we'll put this h1 back in here. So we'll have a div inside of here with the class of brand. So dot nav bar dash dash brand, and then we'll code it out like this all right here, and then we'll componentize it in just a minute. So we'll see. So we have that. We have the nav bar brand in there, so we can put our h1 and just do FSAFS, just like that. Oh, the h1 has padding on it like that. I don't want that. We won't be doing that. We're actually going to have a view style. So our styles will have our views will have some padding on it around it, and then our nav bar will have some styling to it in just a minute as well. All right, so we have that. Let's give our nav some styling now, I guess. Okay, so nav bar, we're going to target nav bar outer. Nav bar outer, and we want really quick, I'm just going to give it a border bottom, and we'll do 3 pixels. Just so we can kind of see it, and I don't want to do black. I'm going to do, let's start with this color, and then we can adjust it from there. Something a little darker. Maybe a little too dark. Okay, close enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever you want to do for the colors too. Actually, you know what? I think I'll swap those and use this for that and this for this. So just because the colors I think will look a little nicer like this. Before it was kind of opposite from what I want. Okay, yeah, that'll look a little nicer. Okay, so we're gonna give our nav bar some height, and we're gonna do, we'll give it a height of 5 rem, just like that, right? Oh, that might be a little much actually. Let's see. Well, let's do 80 pixels. Now remember, we're using rems, and if we go into our main CSS here, we have rems go off of the font size property on the HTML element styles, essentially. So whatever this is set to, so if we change this to 10, it'll be 40 pixels. You see how it got a lot smaller, and the font size changed as well because everything's going on that. But you see how everything kind of scaled. So it's really easy because you go to a bigger screen, you just need to kind of make it bigger. It takes a lot of the responsiveness, like the media query needs, out of like the layout stuff, because you can just simply adjust the font size right here, and it kind of, everything kind of adapts to a smaller scale. And you do super big. So it's super cool. I always use the rems. I recommend it all the time. So, okay, so if you remember, that's what we're going off right there. So we're going to do 4 pixels on that, and we're going to give, we're going to center this. So we want to say a dash center. Let's align center. Oh, wait. Yes, no, I haven't used my thing in a while. Let's see, down here. I might have switched the title on it. A center. Yeah. Line item center. What the heck? Anyways, oh, oops. Let's figure out this. Oh, that's in the brand. It needs to be 100% or whatever. I see. That makes sense. Okay, so app.view in here, and navbar brand will be, actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to, navbar brand is actually going to be a flexbox item as well, and then we're going to have a line item center, so a dash center. on that. And I think we need to give this 100% height too. So it takes up the, yeah. Nav bar brand. So underneath nav bar outer, we'll do dot nav bar dash brand, target that, and just give it a height of 100%. Right? Now this should center the thing. Let me check on this side. Because this H1 should be getting, oh, okay, let's take a look here. What the heck is going on? Why isn't Flexbox being applied to this? Refresh. What the heck? Oh, you know what is going on? I know what's going on. Jeez Louise. Okay. I have to bring in my Flexbox library. I brought it into the project, but I didn't import it in. So like none of these classes are being applied, so nothing's working. Okay. No wonder why. I thought I was going crazy for a second. Okay, app.view, same thing that we did here. We're also going to do, we'll bring in Flexbox in first. So flexbox.css. What? Failed to compile. Don't tell me that. Oh, Flexbox. Flexbox util. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Oh, wow, it's centered. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't even know. We don't even need that. Okay, wonderful. Now we have it working finally. Okay, now it's working decent now. Okay, so the brand I do want to give, or actually, you know what? Let's see. How do we want to do this? Okay, so yeah, and the nav bar, the main nav, I'm gonna give it just a little bit of padding on the left, just to bump over the heading just a little bit. So padding left, and we'll do 1 rem. All right, cool, nice. Okay, and then we got that going, and so this register will be seated in about 1 rem as well. And okay, so next thing we need to do is we're going to make a couple of nav bar items. So what we can do, actually, before we go further for that, let's start bringing this into its own component, because I think we can do that at this point. So in components, we'll create a new folder and call it nav bar. Oops. I'm gonna make it all lowercase. Nav bar. Okay. And then inside of here, we're gonna make a new file and we'll call it navbar __ main .view. All right. Yeah. So template. We need, so single file view components. We have a template, our view instance, which is the script block. and then our style block if we need it. So we'll add it for now. We'll just see if we even need it. Yeah. And I always scope single file components styles, because we can use CSS can go into it, but we don't want CSS going out of it. All right, so first thing we want to do in this is we're going to take our nav bar stuff here and copy and paste it right here. Fix the spacing here. Okay, we might need to just bring in this guy as well. So we don't want that in the app.view, because this style attribute isn't scoped, because we just have like some global styles, and then we import our main CSS and then our Flexbox util into this to be used throughout the app. So we don't want it scoped, because if we do that, then we can only use those imports inside of this style block, which we don't want. All right, so we don't have that there. We can get rid of this now because that's not there anymore. What we need to do is bring in this component. So let's open up our script, or our Vue instance. So we have our script block right here, and we need to start by importing this component. So we'll import, and we'll say navbar underscore main from, and then the file path to that component. Oops. Components, and then navbar and navbar main, just like that. Cool. And then, so now that we have it imported, we need to register it. So we'll open up our components object inside of our Vue instance here. Don't forget the colon. And now we'll just register it. And so we can say nav. Okay, I want to rename this a little bit, so change the naming just slightly so I can use it as a valid style, because underscores don't count as valid HTML styles, right? So might just get to the nav bar and starting on the other thing. We probably won't get as far as I would have liked because we're behind schedule, but 24 minutes in, we'll see what happens. So just get some coffee into me. Okay, cool. So what I'm doing is just bringing that component and I'm registering it under another name's a valid HTML element name, so I can use it without changing stuff, and I don't know, because otherwise you have to do it kebab case, and I don't want to do that. I want it to look like this, which I guess is kind of a hybrid of kebab and Pascal case, but just, you know what, you name it how you want. It doesn't matter. Nav bar main. Okay, cool, we got that, and I just want to make sure we do the dot view at the end of it, just because the linter seems to like that more so. It wants me to put a semicolon there. What? Jeez. Okay. Now that we have that there, we can bring that component in. So just type in nav bar main. So otherwise it would be like that, and I don't want that. And it's self-closing. For now, I don't think we're gonna need anything in there. We're not, yeah, self-closing. We're not using any slots or anything like that. So, okay. Oh yeah, by the way, Vue 3 just released an early alpha, so go ahead and check that out. It doesn't have directives yet, but Joshua was looking into it. He's gonna probably give us a report back on what he thinks. So I'm looking forward to the full release of that. It's gonna be super cool. Can't wait. Anyways, make sure we don't forget our comma there. Okay, nav bar is in. Let's go into our nav bar main. We can take this. Let's just do the same process really quick and do a new file. We'll do nav bar brand dot view, and I'll just take this thing out as so. Cut it out. And we need our template, and we can actually just get rid of, not do that, but we'll take that and paste it in place of those div tags such as that. So I'm just moving this out into its own component now, and make sure we get our script, and then we can do the same thing that we did in app.view to bring in our component or brand into our nav bar main. And once we're done with that, we'll make some nav bar items, and then we'll get to switching between the views. So it'll be pretty cool. Okay, so go a little bit quicker on this one. So we can just say, oops, we're not on this in the main actually. So inside the script block, we'll import nav bar brand from nav brand, just like that. Dot view, and then inside of our actual view instance, we'll open up the components object, and we need to register this component now. So again, I'm going to do my naming convention. You can name it however you like. Just make sure you know what stuff is. That's the only problem, or not problem, but that's the only solution. Pointer. All right, so now that we have that, we'll bring it in as such. Nav bar brand. And now for this one, it's going to be self-closing, but we're going to be passing in a prop to it. So instead of, we don't have to break it open like that. So we're gonna start by entering that prop. We're gonna have the prop be called text, and inside of that, we're just gonna pass in FSAFS. So that way we can kind of take this out and make it composable versus like declarative like this, because this is not reusable at this point. We want to be able to pass this string into this component instead of having it hard coded in there. Fs. Okay, so double click that, we can get rid of that. So inside of our view instance here, we can have our props object, and we'll bring in text, and that is going to have its own object, and we inside of this we'll have a couple properties, and if I can type, we need to type the word type, and it's going to be a string only. We only want to accept a string, and we want to make sure that this is required, and we don't have to do required true, but just the fact that, let's see, yeah, required is true. And so you don't have to do required false, because if you don't need it, because by default it's required is false or whatever. So if it is necessary, you'll need that, and it will give an error saying that I didn't register the component correctly. Oh, because I called it wrong thing. Jeez. Nav bar brand. There we go. Refresh. No error. Text equals FSAFS. Okay, so now we have that in there. We have the props in there. So now we can interpolate this prop into our template. So we open up a set of mustache bracelets or braces like that. Double curly braces for the string interpolation, and we'll just pass in the name of the prop just such. And voila. Sweet. Okay. Nice. So actually what we can do is instead of what we want to do now is we're going to make a nav bar item. Instead of, interesting, I don't know why I said that. Just looking at my note code, my prototype code, it's sometimes the things I do surprise me. Anyways, so basically we won't have to recreate from scratch the nav links, because they're essentially this nav brand is essentially an item. We'll just take it and modify it a little bit. So we can take all of this, we'll copy it. We'll start by or in nav bar or in components in nav bar. We'll make a new file, and it'll be navbar underscore item dot view, just like that, and we can enter in all of that. So sweet, we have it in there. And this won't be an H1, so we'll change a little bit of this out. So we'll get rid of this first of all, and we'll just do a span, and then this will contain our text prop. All right, and then we can change the class name because it's not a brand anymore. It's going to be navbar item. We can just call it a nav item, I guess. Better stay consistent. Nav bar item. Cool. So now that we have that in there, we need to open up our styles block. It's just regular CSS, so we don't need to append an attribute or a lang attribute to it. And inside of here, we can target the nav bar item. Yeah, because we just want to give these nav bar items some explicit width, whereas the brand right now is a flex item. It's taking up the entire space, which is fine for what we want on that. But these nav items, we're going to want their own size explicitly. Otherwise, it'll just be like take up the size of the text or whatever. And we want it to actually have an explicit size. So we'll say width is navbar item. Don't forget to target your classes, children. Navbar dash item. Open that up, and then inside of here we'll say width, and we'll say we'll try 6 rem, so 120 pixels to start with. And we can't see anything yet because it's not there, but we should probably bring that in before we start doing anything with styling. All right, so okay, so let's bring it in underneath. We can actually just duplicate that for the sake of time, and then if you hold in Visual Studio Code, if you hold Alt, you can get multiple cursors. So that's what I'm going to do here, and instead of navbar brand, I want it to just say navbar item. Hunky dory, and then we're going to do the same thing for the component registration down here. And so same thing, and do a double cursor, and we'll do item. Cool. Now we should be able to bring that in and use it in our template. I'm gonna give that a space there just so it has a little room to breathe. And navbar dash item. I keep holding on. I've been playing a lot of games lately. My pinky finger wants to stay on the shift button, so text is the same value for the prop or that same name for the prop for the navbar items that is being used for the navbar brand to keep it consistent. And we will just say log in. Cool. And it's right there right now. That's not what we want. But I do believe that is because okay, so I was mistaken. So for this brand, we need to append one more class to it to give it take up the whole width right away, because right now it's only taking up the size of the text. You can see that's why login is right here. We don't want it there, we want it on this side. So what we want to do is we're going to add the class f1, and that applies flex1 to it, and you can see it shoots it right over there. Cool. Excellent. Cool. Oh man, I'm sorry. I gotta open a window. Is it so warm in here right now with these monitors going and the heat running? So give me 2 seconds. We'll be right back. All right, cool. Literally. Oh my gosh. All right. We have this nav bar item here now. Let's get this looking a little nicer. So let's finish this up. We'll give it a border left because we just want to give it kind of its own look. And then we'll actually use the same styles from this that we have. We want the 3 pixel solid and then this like off grayish blue color. Nav bar item. All right, just replace all that. Cool. Neat. We might change that color out, but so this brings in our next point on what we'll do really quick is introduce some CSS variables into the project. And you might wonder why that's necessary, and I'll show you. Because if we want to go and update this this border color now, say if we don't like it, we want to change it at some point. Well, right now we have to change it in 2 spots because these are in separate components and they're scoped, right? So how do we alleviate that? Well, we could put them in. We could put like a border class in our main CSS file and, have it our border color class and change it like that. But then we'd have to add a whole new class to it. And that's, getting to be a lot of work as well. You're just cluttering up your code at that point. What the best solution is, in my opinion, is to just go ahead and use CSS variables because you set it one time, it's globally accessible, you can update it in one spot and it updates throughout the app, and you can target them with JavaScript and change them dynamically on the fly. Can't do that with Sass. All right, let's go ahead and get that started. So in main CSS, how we do this is at the very top here, we're going to append these CSS variables on to the root node. So the topmost document object model node out there, the root. So to target that, we just do colon and we say root like that. You can say represents the element that is the root of the document in HTML4. This is always the HTML element. So, and as far as HTML5, I don't know if there's a further up, but we'll see. So we have our root there, and what we can do now is start doing some styles here. So the way we go about declaring a CSS variable is by doing a double dash syntax like this. So we'll say, what is it? Var. Goodness, I forgot how to write them now. Let me check. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't var. That's how we use them in template. But so we just do a double dash, and that tells the the browser that this is a CSS variable or whatever, and to be used as so. So we will do border dash color, and then we just simply put the style that we want after it, as it were like a normal thing, not this necessarily. I don't know if we can do shorthands like this. I think we can probably do that actually, but I just want the color on this. Cool. And then we can actually let's just bring in the rest of our colors too. So let's see what we got here. Let's give ourselves a little more room to see. App view, we have these 2 colors as well. So we have a color and a background color, and tell you what, real estate these days is a hot commodity on these screens. I'll close this for now. We don't need that open. Oh goodness. Okay, so CSS variables. All right, we'll have the app dash color, and that will be this one right here. And let's get the BG color. Oh wait, I don't want that to be app color. I want it to be font color. What am I thinking? Oop. Font color. Main, because we might have more than one. Background color. All right, now I bring this green in here. All right, cool, like that. Okay, now we can use these in our app simply by replacing these hard-coded values by var. It's a function, a CSS function, and we pass in the name of the CSS variable that we want to target, right? So color is going to be dash dash font color main. All right, give that a semicolon there, and boom, look at that, it's the same. Let's do the same thing for this now. So var, and then we'll pass in bg color. Boom, back to green. Next thing we want to do is swap out these border colors. So we can actually probably close that app.view now. So we can swap this out. And I want to try this really quick. So border size is going to be 3 pixels solid. I don't know if we could do that, but we're going to try it. So first we're going to take this one out, so var, and then we'll pass in dash dash border color. All right, and then the next thing I want to try is swapping this one out. So var dash dash border size. I don't know if we can do this, but we're gonna find out. Looks like it works. That's cool. I like that. That's super cool. All right. So now we can take this little line of code here and swap it out for this guy right there. Neat. Uh-oh. Oh, I accidentally copied that. I don't want to copy that. All right, cool. So we got that. Now we have CSS variables set up. Now we can move on to the next thing. So what we're going to do is get these things looking decent. All right, so we just want to apply SP center. So that should apply. Wait, what's the name of the class? Let's check. I think it was SP center. Oh, jeez. Let's see. Space center. Oh, I'm missing a C. Goodness. All right, it's SPC center. And that puts it in the center. It applies justify content and align content both to it. All right, cool. And for this span, we can probably make it a little nicer looking, I guess. So let's see. It seems like kind of like chintzy a little bit, weak. How can we boost it? Let's make the font size bigger. No. We're actually gonna give it a little bit more width on it too, because that's kind of small. There we go, 8. All right, so we have login, and we should actually give our nav bar a background color. So nav bar main, let's see, what do we want to give it? We'll give BG background color. Let's go through here and pick something. Not. Everything is so green. Okay, it's probably a little bright. Let's see if we can darken it up a little bit. Oh wait, we should probably make it lighter if it's that dark text on it like that. Cool. Good enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. Thanks for checking out the stream. Appreciate it. All right, so right now these don't really do anything, but we want to create another nav bar item. So let's just duplicate this because now it's all compositional. So we can type in that and just replace that with where is it? Register. We have 2 buttons there now. Cool. Well, they're not buttons yet, but 2 nav items. I'm just thinking, I'm looking at my notes right now and I'm just looking and seeing if we want to just handle everything with the one text prop or if we want to pass in like a route prop to it as well to be used as navigation. So I think for right now we'll just do both because, okay, so here I could show you. So this is like from my prototype project or whatever, and in order to get around using just one prop, we have to use a filter, and we're gonna have to do like this route name. And well, not necessarily that, but we do have to write a filter for it to like capitalize it and stuff. But that way we only have to use one prop, one for the text, and that's just how it goes for everything. But I don't know, I think that's kind of, I don't know. We're going to go about it the other way first and see what happens. So let's pass in another prop to this, and it'll be our route prop. Route equals login. And that's just going to be the same thing right now as the text prop, but just a lowercase version of it. And we could probably go through after the fact and refactor it to use only one like that one, but I'm trying to keep this not so much view focused and full stack focused. So I think if we just get away with using 2 props, one for route and one for register, it'll be fine. This is not React. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's just add in that really quick. We have route, and that is going to be a string. Oh my goodness. And it will be required. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we're going to actually put a click listener on this guy and start navigating. So what we want to do is we're going to write a method. So down here in our view instance underneath our props, and we're going to open up our methods object, and then we'll just say navigate view, just like that. And that will be a function that goes this dot $router. So $router is a global variable on the view instance that we can use to, it's a reserved variable to target the router. So to navigate between different routes in view, we can simply just have this function. I mean, you can do it declaratively in here, but I prefer going about it the programmatic way because it's more flexible in what you can do and it's not like hard coded into your template. So yeah, so this .router.push, because it's just essentially an array, and we're gonna push in the name of the route here. So we'll do backticks slash and interpolate the variable route. Oh, it's gotta be this route. Cool. Now let's see if that works. Shall we? Oh wait, it doesn't work yet because we don't have the click listener yet there. Okay, So underneath or actually above it, we'll put the click listener above the class attribute there. And we'll just do the shorthand. So at click, the shorthand is the same as using the v-on directive like that. So it's essentially attaching a click listener or an event listener to this this element. So when it clicks, we're going to run the function navigate view, just like that. Now we should get that working now. So let's try seeing what happens here. Log in. This router.push is not a function. Since when? We have a router in here, yeah. It's not $router. Oh, router. There we go. Okay. Unnamed caught in duplicate. Okay. So we'll handle that in just a second here. But yeah, so that is now properly working. What this error is saying is that we're already on this page and it's it's a duplicate navigation, so it's throwing an error. But you see, if we navigate to a different page, it doesn't throw the error. What we want to do is what is it? We want, because this is actually a promise. This function, this router.push, is actually returning a promise, and what we want to do is just catch the error if there is one. We don't need to do anything with a .then necessarily, because we don't have like, we're not doing anything with the response. But to handle the error, we're going to use .catch. And that will be a function, and we pass in error as the argument, and then we'll just console.log the error. Cool. So let's see if we still get it. Okay, so now we're not getting an error, we're just getting the console log of it. So which is cool. That's good. Not a big deal. We don't have to worry about it. I mean, I do have like validation, so let's actually try and do that. So right now it's saying if we're on this route, we don't want to navigate to it, so we don't want to try navigating to it. So what we can do is we'll write an if statement to wrap this. So we'll say if this dot $route dot path. So the route object contains all of our stuff. For the router and the route that we're on. So you can actually take a look at that. Uncreated. Oh, it's not uncreated yet. It's just created still in the view 2. And then we'll just console dot. Actually, let's do mounted, not created. I just want to make sure it has access to the route object. Console.log, and then we will do this dot $route. Okay. Vanille has joined us. How's it going, dude? Good to see you again. Thanks for checking out the stream. He has a question. He says, will it work if you just pass this .route without the interpolation? Yeah, actually, I think it will. I think that's overkill. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I was doing that. Because I was passing it in as a string, but it is a string that's being passed in. That's a good catch. Thank you. Thank you. So console.log this .route, you can see it's pulling up right here. So let's take a look and see. So we got inside of here, we got a full path, a hash, which we don't have, matched, all this good stuff. So a lot of interesting information we're not really taking advantage of. So if you have a query being sent with this router request or anything like that, params if you're sending that, and we have a path and a name. So interesting stuff. You can take a look at that further on. Okay, so what we want to say though is if this route actually let's do name, because we don't want the backslash there, or forward slash, whatever it is. Wait. Okay, so the if statement is going to say if this dot router or this dot route dot name equals or does not equal wait a second, I think this is backwards. This is for the other thing that if we're just using one prop. No, this dot route. Okay, so if this dot route dot name it does not equal this dot route, we want to push the route to the new router or whatever. If it does, we don't want to do anything. Being so that it should not let us duplicate. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So we can only navigate, we can only access or push that to it if we're not on that existing router. You can see that it's changing right there. So, okay, cool. So we got that going. It looks pretty decent, I guess, for the most part. I mean, it's not styling. What I want to do really quick, now that I just noticed that, is we're going to add in pointer class, cursor pointer, just so I can put that on the Nav Bar item. Pointer. Dang, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. Cool, so now we have a pointer thingy. Okay. Let's give ourselves a little bit of padding for the view. View like that. Padding 1 rem. And then inside of here, class. So inside of our login.view and inside of our register.view, we will apply that view class to it. Cool. So now it's padded out a little bit, matches the spacing on that stuff and everything, so it looks all right. Off topic, what are your thoughts on Oktoberfest? I actually was just doing a big plug for Oktoberfest at the beginning of the stream, so I think everybody should be involved in Oktoberfest. I got my Oktoberfest 5 shirt on from last year. That really helped me get jump started into doing open source stuff and learning how to work in open source, and it was super cool, super helpful. I would definitely recommend everybody, especially if you're new and even if you don't have any open source experience, you don't even know how to make a pull request. You go to hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com and register and start hacking away at some open source, because you'll learn a lot and you'll get an awesome t-shirt in the process. So yeah, are you going to be doing it? Home. Oops. All right, so okay, so let's just go to the register view here. I'm gonna pull up a new terminal window and just add this stuff to the repository. I don't even think we have really anything pushed yet to it, which I do apologize about. We'll get it pushed today if you've been looking for it. Client and git branch. Okay, we just have the master. So git checkout -b to check out a new branch, and we'll do fsafs-c -00 app init nav bar build. Cool. It's gonna be kind of like 2 in 1. So, and git commit. Oh, we gotta get everything. Git add all. Oh goodness. Just made my first pull request yesterday. The first one was easy. Finding it a little difficult to get open issues that I can resolve. If you look and search on GitHub for the tag beginner friendly, actually what is it? Hacktoberfest. Let's just go to it really quick. Details right here. First timers only. First, awesome for beginners. So yeah, come and check out this repo, because that'll be a good place to start. And then there's tons of stuff like this available. So if you do these guys are usually supposed to be labeling their pull requests as good. You know, you can see right here it says beginner friendly, beginner project, awesome. So definitely check out the contributing stuff. Yeah, so the contribution guidelines. If you're gonna make a pull request to something, make sure you just check out the contribution guidelines and like how they're formatting for things and how they do it, just so it doesn't get rejected due to stuff like that. So, but yeah, okay, so we got that going, and what are we going to do now? Log in. We want to go to the register route. So we're not gonna be able to get too much more done because we're gonna get overboard with time pretty quick here, and we probably just focus on building out the front end. I'll have to change. I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail, which isn't a big deal, but. Git commit. Let's finish committing this. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish committing this, and then we'll wrap up the stream for today. Quite possibly, we'll get in round 2 tomorrow night. After our jam band stream in the evening. Don't promise anything, can't guarantee nothing, depending on energy levels and how things go. But if it could be a good possibility that we'll be finishing this up, writing out the register view tomorrow or early next week, this week. So let's finish committing this. I'm gonna create the repo on GitHub, share it, and then we will call it a day. So thanks so much for everybody that's yes, thank you so much. It'll be really cool to get a t-shirt. Yeah, these things are dope. I'm really looking forward to the new style because I'm sure it'll look, you know, they basically took the logo, this stuff, and just slapped it on a t-shirt. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that, what they have this year on a t-shirt. And you collect one each year. This would be cool. So, all right. Let's see if I can actually finish this. App. Add app init. And nav bar build styling and navigation. Cool, that'll work. All right, let's go head over to GitHub. Bring this up. Oops. Bring up the font size a little bit. Dashboard. Why is it not on a mobile device? There we go. New repository. Wait, I just want to make sure I didn't already make this by accident. What do you guys think about the no music? I know it's kind of lame, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Hopefully this gives some more traction in the recommendations. That's the only reason why I'm cutting out the music. If it doesn't make any difference, we'll be bringing it back. Fuck it, I don't care. Shouldn't swear. Sorry. All right, new, and it will be FSAFS. I can't even remember what the heck I just called that thing. No, not Netlify. GitHub. My repositories. Live. Okay. Dash live dash dash client. Client. Sign up. All right. It can be created. All right. So we got to say get remote add origin, and it will be this link here. This URL, not link. Type that in, enter, and then get push dash u origin, and then that. Cool. Awesome. Okay, and I just want to do get checkout dash b dev. Cool. And we'll just push this up too, since get push dash u origin dev. It'll be empty for now or whatever, not be anything changed in it, but just so that dev branch is on the online repo. But I like it without the music. All right, well, good to know. All right, so that should be live. So let me give this a refresh. All right. And there, everybody can go check it out. It's in the chat, but yeah. So thanks again for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap it up for now. We'll get back and actually code out this register view now that we have things kind of set up, and we had to do a little bit of housekeeping and stuff. So thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Live Coding with Rabbitwerks JavaScript. My name is Sean. It's been a pleasure being with you for the last hour. I hope to see you again. Make sure to give a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you can know when I go live, because YouTube doesn't do a good job of that. Hopefully this video does better than the other ones. Check out Hacktoberfest at DigitalOcean. If you have any questions about this project, you can join the Rabbitwerks Discord. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. Go ahead and check out the GitHub and look through the code and maybe even make a pull request to it, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, again, my name has been Sean. Thank you so much. No matter where you are in the world, remember to keep awesome, or keep coding and stay awesome. We'll catch you next time. Peace.